Hello, welcome to the BT Sports Score studio. We're going to be live, as always, on BT Sport 1 a little bit later on to take you through some crucial games up and down the country. But in the meantime, Michael Owen, Tim Sherwood and Robbie Savage here with us to discuss what I think a lot of the clubs are doing at the moment, picking their players of the season. There's been a couple of awards already. Last week, Brighton announced that their player of the season was Pascal Gross, and West Ham announced that their player of the season was Marko Arnautovic. So we thought we'd give you guys the chance to do the same at home with the help of you three. So let's go down the table, starting off at the top with Manchester City. Player of the season for you, Michael?
Well, they've got quite an array of talented players, haven't they, that have done particularly well, but I don't think you can look past De Bruyne. Sterling deserves a mention. Well, a few of them deserve a mention, but De Bruyne's probably head and shoulders above everyone.
You guys both agree?
I would agree. How could you argue that? I mean, he's been absolutely fantastic. I think Raheem has really improved. I think he's in line for it next season.
Yeah, any disappointment then that Kevin De Bruyne didn't win the PFA Player of the Year?
I think the right call. I think he was second, wasn't he? So more Salah, what was it, 43 goals. We've seen him against Roma, how good he was. Those two goals, wow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Kevin De Bruyne for City.
OK, Manchester United now. Robbie, let's start with you.
See, I think David De Gea will win it. But me, I'd give it Lukaku. I know Mo's going to disagree. Because, listen, I'd never play for a big club. You know, these guys did. Mo
Makes no odds.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but, you know, you'll know more about going to Manchester United with pressure on you. He's gone to that football club and he's scored 25 goals. He probably might get 30 goals this season in his first season at a massive football club. I think he deserves massive credit. Do I think he's the best player? No, but I think his achievement this season. But listen, but David De Gea will win it, but I'd give it Lukaku.
Michael, why do you disagree so much then with that?
I just don't think he's probably scored enough important goals. They've not really done that well in the Champions League. When you need your best players to do it in the big games. Look at all the great players; they do it in the big ones, not the fourth goal against Yeovil and things like that. And I'm not having a go at him because he's a very good player. He scored a lot of goals, and I don't say he's had a bad season at all. But player of the season, Manchester United, Lukaku.
It'd be David De Gea, wouldn't it?
Well, that's
I think sometimes you have to feel sorry for Lukaku the way Jose decides he wants to set up. It's quite a negative setup. Doesn't get a lot of support. But for me, their player of the season, by a country mile, is their goalkeeper. He pulls off big saves at the right time and he keeps them in the higher end of the league and probably win an FA Cup this year.
Can I rephrase that then? I give it David De Gea, but Lukaku gets an honourable mention.
It would be his third year in a row, David De Gea, to win the Man United Player of the Season. That shows how good he is. Best goalkeeper in the world right now, people are saying. But why is it that a team as good as United haven't got an outfield player that can win this award for 3 years?
Well, I think that they haven't been that great, Manchester United. I think they're improving under Jose, but he likes to play a very pragmatic style, and I think the goalkeeper is really important for him. But the last line of defence and the saves, what he pulls off at the... Sometimes he has a quiet day, and then they get a chance, and he just pulls off a big save all of the time. I think he's a world-class goalkeeper, and credit to Man United for being able to hold on to him.
Look at
the Spanish guy. Real Madrid have got probably one of the worst goalkeepers in Europe. So how they can, keep them at arm's length and not get them to take David De Gea is beyond me.
OK, well, let's move on to Liverpool. Michael, do we even have to ask?
No, you give me two simple questions so far. De Bruyne and Salah, one, two.
This week, Steven Gerrard said that he's on current form better than Messi and Ronaldo. So we asked you guys at home in our poll to vote on this. And the final result, there's been over 63,000 votes on this, which is a record for a BT poll. 64% of you think that Mo Salah is, in fact, the best player on the planet right now. And Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo got 18% of the vote.
So right now, as in the last week or the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks?
This season.
It's hard to... This season. I mean, it's struggled to think of anyone better on the planet at the moment than Salah. He's had an amazing season. Again, I mean, if Ronaldo goes and scores a hat-trick in the final again and wins another Champions League, then everyone's going to say, the Ballon d'Or for him again. But Salah's done something that we very rarely see in the Premier League, to score that many goals, and for a lad that doesn't even play down the middle as a centre-forward. It's just...
What's it like winning the Ballon d'Or?
We'll talk about it later.
Do you reckon he can go on and beat Rashi's record?
Yeah, I think he will. I think that the manager's got to take a lot of credit. You saw him score in the Champions League and he went over and said sorry to them Roma fans, and they must have looked at him and said, who are you? We didn't see that. We didn't see it at Chelsea, and you've got to give Klopp a lot of credit for seeing what he can deliver, putting him in a formation what suits him down to the ground. And 100% for me, he's their player of the season. And is he as good as Messi and Ronaldo? This season, yeah, you'd have to put him up there. Of a player of that type. I mean, we've just seen Iniesta retire from Barcelona. He's probably one of the best footballers, best midfield players of his type. But if you're talking top end goals and assists, Mo Salah has to be up there.
OK, let's move on to Tottenham then, Tim. How hard is it to pick their player of the season? Because there's been quite a few that have been pretty good this year, haven't there?
Yeah, I would go for Christian Eriksen. I think that I know Harry Kane scored a bundle of goals again, but Christian Eriksen is just, he's so consistent. He's so important to the team. And he delivers at the right time. He's always had a label of people saying to him, he can't do it at the big games, but he's delivered this year in the big games, and his goals and assists, and the way he just ticks that team over and keeps them moving, and his attitude towards playing and pushing forward, he'd be crucial to keep hold of, you know, and as most of them players are at Tottenham, you know, they need to keep hold of their squad to progress and move forward next season. But for me, Christian Eriksen would be the player of the season.
Well, speaking of keeping hold of players, one of the teams that have underperformed this year, Robbie, Chelsea. Who's their best player this season? It's been very underwhelming for them, hasn't it? And how do they keep hold of the likes of Azpilicueta and Eden Hazard going into next season?
Good question, Jules. Best player for Chelsea?
I would say Kante, but I just think he always delivers. You know what you're going to get. If you're a manager, you want responsibility and then reliability, and he always delivers.
The wing-backs have played all right as well, haven't they?
Yeah. Azpilicueta's good because he plays in different positions, and he's...
Willian. I think Willian.
Yeah,
That's just come to you, that one, hasn't it?
I know.
Willian has been terrific. Willian, I'm going Willian.
You're going Willian. OK, Michael, I'm going to ask you a hard one now.
Oh, right.
What about Arsenal?
Oh,
Who's their best player this season? Do they have one?
that is a good question.
Aaron Ramsey.
He's come back into the fold. He had a quiet year or so, didn't he? He's come back, played a little bit better.
He's missed quite a few games, though, again, hasn't he,
Yeah,
Ramsey?
I'd probably say Sanchez, even though he only played a few games.
You can't do that.
Cool, that's a hard one.
What about Mesut Ozil?
Yeah.
No, you're not sure on that, are you?
I'm not sure on that. No, I'm really not sure, full stop.
I think Arsene Wenger's done a brilliant job, and everyone talks about that he's left that club in a better position to win when he took over. He has, the football club. But on the field, they're a mess. You have to say that he was left. When Arsene Wenger took over, he took over a better group of players than what he's leaving someone else to take over. At the moment, they are a million miles away from challenging for that Premier League.
As I've been listening to Tim as he's talking, I'm still trying to think, and
Yeah.
I still couldn't pick. I'd love to know the Arsenal fans. I bet you know, we've
also,
got
guys,
votes
yeah.
there that people say 60%, 70%. I bet you, if you ask the Arsenal fans, there wouldn't be anyone that would get over 30%. It must be such a hard
Split,
call,
yeah.
that one. I mean,
Well, we'd
can't
love to
think
hear
of
from
any
you.
standouts.
Let us know, because we're going to be coming back to this throughout the live show later on as well. So make sure you get your thoughts into us at BT Sports Score on Twitter. Let's get to Burnley now, because they're a team that can today secure European football. What an incredible achievement for Sean Dyche. Which of their players? There's quite a few to choose from. Who stood out for you, Robbie?
Well, it's got to be one of the defenders, Tarkowski.
Tarkowski, yeah.
I think, getting an England call up defensively, they are very, very good. Mee's done great as well. So, Tarkowski.
Tarkowski, OK.
Pope for me.
But, yeah.
I think
I forgot about him there.
Yeah,
injury to Heaton, everyone thought that would be their downfall.
Yeah.
An England goalkeeper, he's performed so well that he's pushed himself into the England squad.
Yeah, Pope as well, yeah.
And speaking of goalkeepers, what about Everton? Their player of the season has to be their goalkeeper, Jordan Pickford, Michael.
Yeah, they invested a lot of money over the summer, and a lot of it, I'd say, has been wasted. But he has not been a waste of money. He's been a good investment. He's had a very good season. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the summer with the World Cup. Of course, he'll be going, but who's going to be number one will be a big question. But I don't think he's done himself any harm. Everton have had an average season by their standards, but he's been one of the shining lights. OK,
we're going to rattle through these. Let me skip past a few, because, Robbie, in your column today, you wrote about Wilfried Zaha being Crystal Palace's most valuable player. In fact, you said he's the most valuable player of any team in the Premier League.
Along with Mo Salah. Yeah, no question about it.
Explain.
Well, because if you're looking at Crystal Palace without Zaha, I think it's 7, 8, 9 games where they didn't get a point or a goal, and he's missed quite a lot of seasons of injury. But when he plays, the amount of points they've got, he's had the most dribbles in the Premier League. He gets he wins some penalties. Because I done the game last week, Watford against Palace, and there was a lot of debate. Did he go down?
Booked, wasn't he, for diving?
Yeah, it was completely wrong. It was never ever a dive. It was a penalty, and I thought he was unfairly treated last week. He's getting kicked all over the place. I just think Zaha, when he's fit. Now I think when he went to Manchester, were you there when he went to United?
No.
Now I think he's ready for the top 6. side, definitely. I think he's more mature. Was he 25 now? His end product's good. I think Zaha to Palace is so important. So, me, Wilfried Zaha.
Which of the top 6 do you think he best suits to move to if that does happen, Tim?
Tottenham.
That's what you want.
Well, I think he's got something different, what I haven't got. I mean, he's got electrifying pace. I know they've got quick players, but he's so direct. But it's always going to be a question mark. When someone leaves a lesser club and goes to a big club and he doesn't make it, whether his fault or the circumstances at the time, it was an unsettled period in the time of Manchester United. And then he goes back and he's a superstar at that club again. Sometimes you get labelled of just being able to do it.
A bit like Sigurdsson. Remember, went to Spurs, didn't quite do it at Spurs, did he, from Swansea?
Yeah. So it's a difficult one for someone to take a risk. And obviously, you're going to have to pay a king's ransom to take him out of Crystal Palace, because what Robbie says is so important to their survival.
OK, let's get to the bottom 3 now. Obviously, this makes it a bit harder to pick from the teams that could potentially be relegated, a player of the season for them. But what about Southampton, Michael? We've got Ryan Bertrand, Cedric, Jack Stevens. They've all done pretty well, haven't they, this season? Despite the fact that, obviously, the team they're in haven't... They've not produced results.
They haven't. And when you're going for the bottom 3, you're obviously quite naturally talking about the best of a bad bunch, because nobody's probably excelling so much. Bertrand, I've always been a fan of his. I think he could play, or he has played at a bigger club, let's say. And should Southampton go down, they might find it hard to
He's thinking in his head, it's a give it to.
No, I've already said Bertrand.
All right.
Bertrand, you think Bertrand's done well, yeah.
I think, mid-season I thought he was playing particularly well, and I do think and obviously England as well, he's played a fair bit there. So I think he's probably the shining light. When you look at Southampton over the years, they've always had assets in the team, and I look at them now and just think, who could they sell on? And he's probably the one player that I think could play at a high level.
Well, I think that's the difficulty with these teams. It's when we pick out these players that have performed well for them this season, it's keeping them there at the club next year. So what about Stoke, Jack Butland? Will he be there? Will he be in the Championship if they go down? Do you think he'll move?
He won't want to be. He'll want to be playing at the highest level because he'll want to play for England. So, no, it's difficult. I mean, Mo makes a good point there. I just think that all the predators, all the vultures at these big clubs will be fishing in them ponds, because a lot of these guys who are going to get relegated might have get-out clauses, and it was quite cheap. If they get relegated, they can go for a certain amount of money. So they'll be trying to pick them, and you can. I know their teams might have got relegated, but as individuals, in a different setup, they might be world beaters, and I think it's very difficult to keep hold of them. Jack Butland, can they keep hold of him? I think they possibly can. I think they've got the finances to be able to do it. It's whether the boy wants to stay there or not, if he gets an opportunity to go to a bigger club, or in the Premier League, sorry.
I don't know about you, Robbie, but I can't see Shaqiri playing in Championship. Can you?
I think I'm not sure he'll have a relegation clause in his contract. I don't know how long he's got left, but I'm sure he'll be on big money at Stoke City, and the gamble is, I look at Burnley. European football. Would Shaqiri suit something like a Burnley if they?
He's been their standout, though, hasn't he? Shaqiri,
yeah.
You'd say him, Joe Allen.
Yeah,
Joe Allen's not played that much this season. He's been injured for a fair lump of the season. So I'd say Shaqiri was the best player.
Say Shaqiri, OK.
The problem is, with the guys when they sign contracts and they go Shaqiri to Stoke and Tadic and these people at Southampton, when they sign their contracts, they wouldn't have dreamt that they would get relegated.
No.
They've come out of the blue to get relegated, so they probably haven't got clauses in their contract to release them.
Yeah.
And likewise, they're probably not going to get their money halved, because a lot of guys, when you get relegated, half their wages, 50% comes off in the Championship. But that's important, because it's almost a get out as it is, because if they can't half their money, the teams can't afford to keep them, so it looks like they'll be moving.
Yeah. Well, West Brom can be relegated today, Robbie, and, I mean, I don't think anyone saw that coming. Can you pick out one of their star players this year? It's tough, isn't it?
Rondon.
Yeah.
He scored a few goals,
Probably
hasn't he?
Foster.
Okay.
Probably the goalie, and they're getting relegated,
Yeah.
For him.
You're talking,
early
again,
on.
best of a bad bunch, aren't you? It's difficult to say, but Rondon's probably been again, if you were a Premier League team looking to pinch someone from a relegated team, you might go for him.
Okay.
Well, I can say, when you do pick up the Player of the Season award, it's quite nice. 4 times at different clubs. Ballon d'Or, Mo. He's not mentioned it before, has he? Won the Ballon d'Or.
Never. Well, actually, Michael, let's talk about 2 of your former clubs, Liverpool and Real Madrid. This is the best of a good bunch. This could be the Champions League final. If this happens, who can you see winning this?
Well, I said Real Madrid at the start of the tournament. I fancy them to win. I just think that their experience, their know-how, they're not over the hill, even though they've got a team that probably you know, going to be in need of some youngsters, let's say, or some new players. But Liverpool can beat anybody. And you know what? The better the team, the better Liverpool play. They can beat absolutely anyone, and they almost struggle against the lesser teams.
Yeah.
As I say that, have they just scored?
No, blatant handball, got away with it.
So, yeah, I mean...
Should have been a penalty. Okay.
It could go either way.
OK, Tim, 5-2 already in the first leg to Liverpool. Are they sailing through to the final, or is it going to be a tough second leg?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game. I mean, if Roma hadn't turned it around against Barcelona, we'd have given them no chance. So only a madman would give them a chance. So, Rob, give them a chance?
No, as you say, Tim, 3-0 against Barca. They beat Chelsea 3-0. Haven't conceded a goal at home in the Champions League, Roma, but those front three, I think, will score.
They will score.
Yeah.
Cool. Lots to look forward to on the show today as well. Make sure you join us for all the action up and down the country where teams can be relegated and promoted today. We'll see you a little bit later.